Hello.
How you doing? Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you fine.
Okay, I can never get used to this turning this on, how this works. Yeah. I just want to just get the lighting right here. Just give me a second. Because I can see that's hard to it's glaring out. So give me a second here.
Yeah,
All right, that's a little better there. I
yeah.
guess I guess I should have my background lit up more. So,
Well, I just have the room light on.
yeah, I was seeing that it was blinding out. I might turn it back on there. I thought because I got a desk lamp on. Let me just try it here to see what's better here. Yeah, I guess that's pretty good right there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I see you're. I'm from Clarence, New York. You're from Indiana, you said?
That's correct.
Yeah. And
And
are you using cat?
whereabouts is Clarence? Whereabouts is Clarence, New York?
Clarence, New York is right, just right outside of Buffalo, a suburb of Buffalo, New York. So I'm
Uh-huh.
just, I'm from downtown. I'm maybe about 12, 13 miles in a straight line.
Well,
So,
at one point in the past, I lived in Ithaca.
oh, okay. So you're mid-state then.
I was then, yeah.
Okay. And you're a cats user or?
I am.
Okay, we're just starting into it at my buddy's layout here. I'm I'm hoping
Uh-huh.
Rod, I'm hoping Rodney Black comes on because he's the guy that usually gets bombarded with all the questions.
Yes.
And what's your how much of the cats you got CTC do you have?
Well, I have an 18 by 30 room, and it's fully signaled
Oh,
around the wall with a peninsula, double track, HO.
oh,
And I have JMRI operational and running on it. And so I can add on either I can run with a CATS dispatcher panel or a JMRI dispatcher panel in a couple different forms.
okay, so you try both of them. Okay,
Yeah,
because
I actually could run with either one.
we're at my buddy's house. We're just starting to get the signaling in. He's got an area about it's a T-shaped area of most of the basement. It's about I think it's about like 1,400 square feet or something like that.
Yeah, it's probably a short person thing. It's probably a short person thing.
What
I'm
happened?
not sure I understand short person.
I don't know. Somebody. I think I heard some other
Sorry,
voice.
guys. That's me. I'm at work being asked questions.
Oops, oops.
Oh, okay. I see you there. I'm trying to figure out how to get this phone so I can see everybody on it at once. So it's a lot better. Let me just.
Good question. Good point. Hang on.
I'm.
There's a screen swipe, and now I've got both of you on. It is
Yeah.
swipe the screen to the
Okay.
left.
Yeah. There we go. There we go.
Yeah,
That's a lot. That's a lot better. You're right. A screen swipe. Okay. Oh yeah. Ray, you're in Las Vegas. I know that.
No, no, Lovelock, Nevada.
Well, oh yeah. I'm sorry, Nevada. I should have said Nevada. My mistake.
That's all right.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between Lovelock and Las Vegas.
Yeah, I would think so because I think you're up between Reno and Elko or something like that, aren't you? Or no?
Yes,
Right?
yes. Yes, yes. I'm actually dead center between Reno and Winnemucca. And then after Winnemucca, the next major one is Elko.
Okay. All right. So, so Scott, you were saying you got 40 signal masts in?
oh, probably more than that actually. I've got I use railroad circuits for my masts.
Oh, use our circuits, huh?
Yeah.
Are you using their LCC system or something else?
Actually, I have a little demo LCC layout, but my main layout is their Loconet based.
Okay. I got you. Yeah, because we're starting to use LCC on my buddy's layout. It's going to be solid LCC. We run ABS. We'll be running ABS if the CTC isn't up.
I actually did clinics in Texas on signaling with LCC and another one on signaling with Loconet. So
Okay. Yeah, I'm not that familiar with LocoNet. Of course, we're just using LCC. So, hey, Rob.
How's it going, Rodney?
Good, good.
I see you found a fellow LCC user.
Well, yeah, he's using the other our circuits. He's using mainly his main stuff is the other stuff that our circuits has.
What, Tower LCC
Yeah.
or SMD or?
No, what is it called, Scott?
Well, it's Loconet based. Well, Loconet is a proprietary network from Digitrax, but it doesn't require that you actually have a Digitrax command station. It's just using communication over Loconet.
Okay, yeah, because I'm not that familiar with that.
Well, think Digitrax a little bit, and you could run any kind of a Digitrax standalone device or a Digitrax throttle would run over a Loconet, which is, it really originated off the command station.
Okay.
So if you didn't have a Digitrax command station, you would be running Loconet.
All right.
Turns out that my command station is actually a Digicase or Yamort now, but it's also running Loconet, among other things.
All right. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
It's a Dutch company.
How long you've had your layout?
I started this one about 3 years ago,
Oh, really?
about the time I retired.
And you got 40 masts in already? That's pretty good.
A little over. I have about 30 signal man, and each one is handling 2 masts.
Oh, really? Okay. Wow.
Somewhere's around 50 or so, a bunch.
Yeah, we got about 10 of ours in it right now. I mean, we're working on more, but we got a lot of the railroad to go yet. So,
Yeah. Well, I have a little demo LCC layout that basically is a single passing siding that's signaled both ends with LCC.
oh yeah, yeah,
And that really takes like 6 masts just to do that.
right.
So-
Because
Sounds like us, Rodney. It was CB25 and 23, same
yeah,
setup.
he's got exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got,
Yeah, double. Yeah, two heads on the turnout masts, on facing the turnout, and a single head on all the others.
single head coming off the siding or off the main, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, because we got a lot of signals coming off the main. I mean, how many signal mast units do we have, Rob? For just 25 and 23, you probably count it as 2.5, right? Because half it's spread out to 64 automatic.
Yeah, that's about right. Mhm.
Because we got so many heads.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the sheet right now. I mean, well, how many heads right on the bridge is 7? Well, 8 if you count 64 on there.
Right.
You got 8 heads on 4 masts there. And then, the other end of the interlocking's got 3 heads, 25 going east. So, I mean, it's 11 heads right there.
Yeah.
Now, what prototype are you using?
What
do
for
you
the
follow?
he's asking what prototype we're using for the signal, Rob. How would you answer that? I would say
It's rules wise, it's what, like a mix. It's a mix of NORAD and G core.
but it's all speed signaling. It's not. There's no
Yeah.
route sig-
Yeah,
all-
there's no
Okay.
routes. There's no route signaling. It's all speed.
yeah.
So you're an East Coast modeler.
Correct. Hmm.
What was the question? I didn't hear.
He says
East
we're an
Coast.
East Coast modelers because mainly the
Oh, yeah.
Eastern speed signaling. That's what we are. That's what we have.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's I don't the route signaling it's confusing to me. I see Union Pacific has really got it's like they bastardized it a lot. It's not even like they got speeds and names mixed and all that and diverging limited crazy stuff they got.
Well, Union Pacific really is route signaling primarily.
Hmm.
I'm a Pensy person. So
Oh no, you're a
PRR
Penske guy?
with position lights.
Oh man. Unfortunately got a personal animosity against the Pennsylvania Railroad because I heard out for the New York Central side back in '76. So we're still fighting the red and the green team battles out here.
Yeah. I
At
don't
least
have anything to do with the worms.
most everybody's dead now. We're still fighting. I was hoping Black would jump in here. He's going to get beat up right away as soon as if he comes on.
What kind of an issue do you have?
With what?
What are your main issues?
With the Pennsylvania Railroad?
No, with cats.
Oh, well, we don't have any real big problems yet. I mean, we work through them and we talk to, on the group, we talk to Black, but I would say when we started up, the LCC system that it's communicating and it's not consistent. The switch indications will come in. I believe the new refresh system he put in the last update, Rob, fixed that, right? As far as we know, but
Yeah, but I ran let's see, I'm actually just loading cats now, so I can take see here, which is it? Yeah, it's under test layout, and if you set turnouts to normal, that's what I was hitting on the after initialization, and that seemed to help quite a bit. Eventually I want to run the script when I load it for set turnouts to normal, and that should take care of the problem.
yeah, but it's just a matter of testing. That's all. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, how about you, Scott? Have you had much trouble with cats or no? We really haven't really had that much, but there's a learning process,
Yeah, that's been the biggest thing.
Anytime you're getting into signaling, there's a whole bunch to learn, yes. And it's not just cats, it's JMRI, it's the particular hardware vendor. And if you're doing LCC, getting all your rules right. You doing your rules out there in the field, or you doing it in in cats?
No,
Oh,
all the logic's in LCC.
Yeah.
Everything's done through CD.
so how would you're the programmer, Rob? How would you explain it? How it goes to from LCC to GMRI to cats? How would you say? Because
Okay, everything's based off the usernames that are in the sensor tables on JMRI. So because the event ID is put into the sensors that I create within the CDI. So that's how JMRI is looking at LCC, and then based off of my templates and cats and the aspects used in this signaling system in JMRI, because that's where I put the event IDs in for the aspects. That's where JMRI will send the cats what it's doing. So cats knows what to display. So that it knows to display green signal.
You start with LCC, and
Correct.
it sets and then that goes back to JMRI, which tells cats.
Yes. Yeah, that's the simplest way to explain it.
Yeah.
That took a while to understand how all three, how JMRI is the middleman between the other two, because the other two don't know about each other, and that's what Rodney Black told me is Cats knows nothing
Yeah.
about LCC, and LCC knows nothing about Cats. JMRI does all the work, so I gotta
Yeah.
have JMRI's got to understand what's coming from both sides, take that information and send it to the other side. So that's what I've learned, to make it work.
It's actually easiest to get it working in just JMRI and then throw cats on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's somebody else connecting.
I see that.
Now, what version of JMRI are you running?
5.0.
5. Okay.
Yeah, that's one thing. It takes you one question I want to ask Black is what's the newest version that will run stable? Was it 5.4? I see somebody just posted in the last hour that he said 5.5.4 isn't working.
5.4. That's me.
Oh, okay,
That
it was
was me.
you. All right, yeah, I just saw the briefing episode.
It works with cats 5.5.3 without a problem.
Gotcha.
But I issue trying to run it. I'm trying to figure out what that issue is. I'm in the process right now trying to set up cats in Eclipse to get it so I can figure out which specific JMRI change it was that caused the issue with cats.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of logging changes in about 5.5.2, but apparently that's not what it was.
Okay.
Because 5.5 runs fine, 5.5.3 runs fine, 5.5.4 it has an issue.
Gotcha.
What do we got, Rob?
5.0.
5.0. Okay.
Yeah. And I haven't updated the cats to 3.0 either. We're using 2.994, if I recall correctly, or 993. It's one of those two. That's what we're using.
What 2.999 version 4 or 3?
4.
4 was
4.
Yeah, and my testing was with cats 3.
Okay.
Which I didn't see a huge amount of difference between 3.0 and 2.994. The other thing that I had trouble with cats was getting I run Railcom, and Railcom kind of looks like transponding, and it wasn't reflecting the status right. And Rodney put in some changes to get that working right. That was back around 2 or 3.
I wish he'd come on, because he maybe he's busy. Who knows,
Yeah.
I gotta see what the screen does here if I swipe it. Oh, I don't want that. Oh, I guess that's the best.
It moves you around.
Yeah. Oh, I put Rob ahead of Ray now on my screen. I think Ray dropped out. There, he's back.
No, he's there.
There he is.
Yeah.
Well, so Scott, you got you said there's about 50 signals already working. You got?
Oh yeah. Well, what I did was there's a. Do you know Seth Newman's model railroad control systems?
No, I've heard that name, but I'm not that familiar with it.
Okay, he has a little tiny mast that's real cheap, like $1 for a single head,
Okay.
and maybe $1.50 for a double head. It's model railroad control systems.
Really?
And he sells a package of a dozen of those. So what I did was I implemented my layout with those, and I'm slowly going around and replacing them with real signal bridges.
Really? I didn't. I
Yeah.
remember that name, but I didn't know that Seth Newman and what's it called?
It's model railroad control systems.
Model Railroad Control Systems. I got to write that down.
Yeah, I'm looking at their site now, Rodney. It's pretty good. You want to check it out.
Okay, Model Railroad. Okay, that's all you searched, Rob? Model Railroad Control Systems.
Yes. Yeah, the first thing that came up.
Okay. It's Corey talked to me tonight. He's working on that new cantilever we're putting in at 6119. So
Mm-hmm.
he's starting to work on that.
Good. Yeah, what's the first one's going in? 60 62? What's it? The 62
I don't know which one we're going to target
28?
first.
What's that?
I don't know which one we're going to target first once we get one, because I got to run the cables yet for the signals.
Yeah.
I don't know what to go with here. I got to get all that, and it's kind of be like steps, I guess, so it doesn't get too like jumping around.
Right. You gonna have time to work on the panel tonight or not really?
I'm going to try to a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to try. I mean, I got a few things. Okay,
Is it a double head?
These are double heads. He's got
Yeah.
single heads as well.
really?
I see that. Yeah, he's got them on here, Rod. Yeah.
What? And there's little LEDs in every one of them?
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of
Circuit mount LEDs.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, you're right. Let's see if I
Yeah.
can flip my. Let's see if I can flip my camera. I may not be able to because I have it up right now. Here's like a pack of single ones.
Yeah.
Single heads are $15 for 12 of them.
Holy crap, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty wild.
You start out with those, and
That's a good
then I'm
idea.
slowly replacing real ones. So here's the bridge.
Really?
This is Showcase Miniatures.
That's neat. So those are the bridges you're putting in and replacing the other signals? Is that what you're saying?
That's one of the bridges. I'm also using Oregon Rail Supply.
Okay.
And I've got my own little custom printed circuit board with surface mounted LEDs for the position lights.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying out the miniatures. So
Great show, you said,
What's
right?
the name of the item again?
I'm an HO person, yes.
Okay. Us too. What was the question, Ray?
What was the name of the item that we were looking at on there?
That website, Rob.
No, not the website. What's the name of the item?
Excuse me. It's a simple, low-cost signals single high head, and it's a 12-pack.
Yeah. And they have a single head and a double head.
Simple signal sighting sampler?
No, it's a simple, low-cost signals single high head.
Oh,
Right.
okay, the 12 pack. Okay,
Yeah.
for $15.
Correct. That's
Yeah.
the one.
Right.
You know what, Rob? I wouldn't mind trying to get a couple of them. We got to talk that over. Just to toss them in, and then Corey, we can move them around later if we have to, or eventually
Mhm.
dump them for that price. It's
Right.
That's a great idea, Scott. But you're replacing them with position lights then, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's a whole different set of programming, though. That's puzzling to me. You gotta, what a position light is. is a little bit more hairy in a program. Yeah. Oh, you got the little position lights there. Holy crap, that's pretty cool.
Huh.
That's
That's
pretty
showcase
neat.
miniature. Yeah.
Good for you, man. That's pretty cool. Even though I'm a Central man, I can appreciate that
Mhm.
one.
No, I'm on
That's
with
great.
a different group.
That would be interesting trying to program those in LCC, Rod.
Wait,
I, um, yeah. Yeah. I have a
oh, no
visitor.
kidding. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but Rob, I would think that it would be the same principle. I'd have to just look at them, I don't think it'd be.
It's really
Oh, you
easy.
mean program? Oh, you're talking about the
It
pigtail
would be, but
It's a breeze to do. in
yeah, it would
LCC.
be. Yeah, okay, because I was going to
Now,
say the only thing that's different is like each bulb.
it's just you tell it when you tell it an aspect, you're going to say that you just going to if you wire it up. Here's the easy way: you wire it with red, yellow, and green, as if it were. Uh, and okay, are you using which of the railroad circuits LCCs are you using?
signal.
You using the new 32s or 16s?
No, all
16.
16s.
Okay. With the 16s, you've got a 12-volt output, or about 11, and you can drive all three yellow LEDs off of one, as if it were a single aspect, single head, single. So you just tell it you wire it up so it's 3, 3, and 3.
Mhm.
So it goes. You basically have 4 wires, one ground and red, yellow, green. And so
Right.
the central one, you wire it from the 2 outside down to the central one.
The two
And so the
outside
central
down to
one
the.
becomes your.
So it's always lit. It doesn't feed back to the other bulbs, then, right? It does. So the middle one always lights no matter what.
You go from the LED from the 2 outer ones.
Right.
Oh, go back to a common, which is the center one, and
Right.
that goes back to your common ground. So the output, it's a diode, so your current never goes backwards.
I
So
gotcha.
you go from your outer one to the center one
Gotcha.
in each case.
Oh, okay. So you're not really. It's not really that complicated, then. Really, you're just.
No, it's really easy.
Yeah. Well, you just explained it there. That makes sense totally. What you can do there with a position light. I never even quite thought of it because we didn't consider using them. But the thing is that we're trying to keep a color light standard because we got numerous operators that come over and they have a hard enough time with some of the signals, much less trying to throw position lights in there and stuff like that. Like the CPLs on the B&O, that they, even though I'm a 46-year railroad vet, I still can't figure those signals out. Of course, it never took much effort.
Oh, here you go. Yeah, here's our bridge. It's
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good, Rob.
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
this is a video I took. You'll see it. This is when we were testing it, Rod.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was when we were
yeah.
screwing around with them.
That signal won't even exist when we're operating, though.
No, no. I'm screwing around with on the CDI with the colors for the wires and whatnot. So.
Well, I'll tell you one thing: we're really pleased with LCC.
Yeah, just be
happy.
I find it. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I was just going to make a joke that I should look up Black's phone number there in the OPSEC file and call him up and say, "Where are you?"
Well, there's no guaranteed attendance on this, so.
No, there isn't, but it's and this is one I finally got to I can make on on a Thursday night. Generally speaking, I'm working. I'm going to there's a train show in Berea, Ohio this weekend. So we're going down there tomorrow. We're driving down to Cleveland area. Then and Anderson is in really relative to like Indianapolis. Now, where are you at, Anderson?
Maybe 45 minutes outside of Indianapolis.
Okay.
I just basically just up 69 from Indianapolis. 69 is the route from Indy all the way up to Michigan.
Okay. Okay.
You know,
I got
Rod,
it.
hey Rod, you know the line that comes out of Elkhart and goes south?
Yeah.
That's where it meets the Indy line, is at Anderson.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Whose
that's where it meets the Big Four.
whose former railroad was that line?
NYC.
Oh, it was an ours, huh? Okay. I'm trying to, I'd have to look at the rail map because, I know what you're talking about there. I got a pretty good idea, but okay.
Yeah, because he used to run the train between Avon and Elkhart, and that's the way it ran.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
How many of you use BD20s for your occupancy?
No, but I believe
Uh,
that's an NCE product, right?
Probably.
yeah.
I was just looking at this
Yeah.
guy's stuff on his model railroad control system stuff interface. Control point occupancy detector. It will do the exact same thing and it's $10.
Yeah.
I mean, $5 cheaper.
But what he's got a whole bunch of things that are CMRI based.
Mm.
And so he's got
Wow.
several versions of CMRI stuff.
Right.
We the occupancy system under the Signal LCC going to the BOD4 CP. It works real well. The coils, just run them through and I think the BD20 is the same principle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And same thing with this one. And then you get an 8-position motherboard for all those boards to sit on, and you then just run the code out to the or the wiring out to the Arduino.
Yeah. The main thing is that you don't get any logic in there. You put your logic back in JMRI when you're doing, or
Yep.
But with the LCC system, you get a ton of logic.
Yeah.
That is the biggest
It looks pretty
advantage.
straightforward on how to do that.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, because with that other systems, you got a GMRI has to provide the logic. The computer's got to be on. Yeah.
Right.
You just tell JMI to talk to the stupid Arduino, and Arduino does all the hard work.
Yeah.
I don't know. David,
Okay, no problem.
two more chance. I got some more ones of yours.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, I'm not muted.
Guys.
Oh, he didn't have to take the
Poor
picture.
Rob.
I thought it was his wife coming in.
Yep.
I'm not muted.
Now he's muted.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but have you done anything yet, Ray, or not? Nothing yet?
Still buying stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's one end. Here's your other end. My dad passed away on Monday.
Oh boy, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so I'm a little stressed. But I've got to pull out the model railroad that he built when I was 2 years old. Got to pull it out of his house, and it's an Atlas granite gorge northern type style. He went from the the king size HO books and made it. So I'm going to be adapting it to Arduino and JMRI and stuff.
How big is it?
Okay. It's 9 feet by 6 feet.
Okay, now
HO.
yeah, it's pretty hard.
2 levels.
You got to maneuver that through a door or something to get it out.
It's in the garage.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
It comes
But
out
it's-
easily, but transporting it is an issue.
Yeah, because well, when we transport it from the house in Castro Valley to the house in Pleasanton, one of the mountains found its way off of the layout.
Whoops.
You know, but
So
scenery's sort of easy to repair. It's not
yeah,
that, you know.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not a scenery guy, but I know that
I
I know
I've
that
done scenery.
if
So.
I had to have something break, that's what I'd pick.
Yeah, well, I have mine melt in a fire, my N scale, number 9 of 9. I built the one where it goes 2 tracks up and figure 8 and then 2 tracks around on the base and had 2 interchanges. So
Okay.
it was kind of neat little N scale thing. But that was in the day.
Right. Okay.
So now it's just a matter of I've been looking at DCC mobile modules, whether it's NCE, whether it's Soundtrack or Digitrack. Currently now you can get them all to be either DC motorized or DCC. There's one code, the CV code that you flip in it, and it will allow you to go DC or DCC.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's reasonable price, between $20 to $30. So
Okay.
one CV code is all you have to flip.
Well, the thing that I've seen with a bunch of cases is that if you enable DC operation, then I've seen several times where locomotives run away. You get a short circuit and it interrupts the DCC signal briefly, and all of a sudden the locomotive thinks it's on full throttle DC and zoom. So I've got DC disabled on everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, when you're running DCC, yeah, you'd want to disable DC. But I want the engine to be able to run on both track layouts, sort of thing. So I'll be converting Dad's layout over to DCC, and then my shelf layout one, which now is on hold. It was going to be a DCC based unit.
I know that. If I'm not mistaken, DC, you can't use the coil detection for a DC, right? If I'm not mistaken, because there's no current going through it if it's the block shut off and it won't detect it, right?
I have to
correct.
disagree because I've on my club
No.
layout before I moved on the club layout, we had block detection under DC mode. You use a 10K resistor on the end of
Right.
it, and it detects your motor on the front end. So
Yeah, you're looking at the voltage drop across either a diode or a resistor instead of
yeah,
using the coils. The coils that Rodney's using won't work with DC. You have to use a
right.
voltage drop mechanism instead. Rodney, you're right that the coils don't work on DC.
Yeah, coils. I mean, I know the old. If you go back to the old Twin T, they work for sure. It was different. It was a different principle. So yeah,
Yeah,
because a coil would have to have some kind of current going through. If the block shut off, it would show nothing in the block if it's cut off.
No, when I get it done, I'll show you guys.
Yeah, we'll be
Because
looking forward to that.
I wanted the control panel that Dad built to be able to show the blocks and show the turnout positions. Every turnout switch machine is an Atlas, coiled turnout.
Yeah.
And so I can interface that though. Yep, got to put you guys on mute again. Sorry, guys.
Okay. Yeah. He's at Napa. He's working there in Napa. But well, okay, I don't know what else we can discuss here. Kind of went through everything. Well, what time? It's out in Colorado. It's only 5 p.m. right?
Yeah, it's 5:40 out there.
Yeah, 5:40. Yeah, so that could lead Black to be eating or whatever. Scott? Are you in Midwest or Central Time or Eastern? There,
East Coast time. East Coast.
Eastern. Okay, because
East,
you're not far from the timeline, then, right?
pardon me?
You're not very far then from Central Time. It's west of you a little ways, right? Not far, right? Or is it? You got to go to the Illinois
Yeah.
state line.
Yeah. 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 When you get to Illinois, yes, and a little bit of Indiana around Chicago is on Central Time. Little
Okay,
tiny bit. Rest is up on Eastern.
still
So
Eastern Time.
yeah, I'm at that Central Time.
Right. Yeah, it's probably a tougher time for him to make it. Probably 5 p.m. Mountain Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 441 out here on Lovelock. So
You're 441.
I-
Okay.
yeah,
Let's.
we got somebody coming online.
What does it say there? Connecting.
It looks like Cameron's
Yeah.
coming up.
Oh, Ken Cameron. That'll be interesting.
It's Ken C. Whoever
Hey
it
guys,
is.
I'm gonna say goodnight, but
Oh, you're
not
leaving already?
goodbye. I've got to go back to work for 20 minutes and get this place closed up. This is the time frame that they decided on, and it didn't work for me. I tried to tell them that. I liked, Saturday morning or something like that, but
Okay.
I can't worry about it.
Right. All right. Right.
All right, guys.
See ya.
Thanks for the condolences,
Take care.
and you all just take
Yeah.
it easy and be safe.
Sorry about that. Okay. And there's Ken Cameron.
Yeah, a little bit late. Like I say, a lot of other things going on, and suddenly my computer said, "Hey," and I recognized it. So I figured check to see if anybody else made it in.
Yeah, we've been on. I'm hoping that between OPSIG and that more people are familiar with it coming on. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of cool the way that Jerry did it. So
Yeah, well, I think the changing the date, the which day of the week and that will have some impact because I know, let's see, when was Cats usually happening? For some reason I'm thinking Saturday afternoon.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was directly in the middle of the monthly meeting of my outdoor live steam club. So, except for the middle of the winter, I was generally tied up doing other things.
Right.
I was typically riding a bicycle on Saturdays.
Yeah, and I think middle of the summer is really where the weekends get the biggest demand for everything.
Yeah.
So let's see, run us up to date, Ken. What do you got going on there as far as I know you're obviously involved with JMRI heavy, but there was a layout you had going on that you actually had a manual CTC board, a regular or not a manual, I should say one that was generated through LCC, right?
Okay, this is Drew James's layout, and we started out where he started construction, but even while most of it was still just, we didn't even have the whole main line bench work, went over his design. I built the panel in JMRI, first the layout editor panel to keep track of stuff. And then we started using that to drive an estimate of, okay, yeah, we're going to have signals here, here, here. How many I's and O's is this going to take? Well, about the same time, LCC was really coming into shape. And he really liked the idea that with the LCC, you can put an ABS level of logic easily into the nodes. So it's like you turn on the switch and the signals will all do something without anything else having to be, fired up.
Right.
So that was the initial, get that far. Well, then the next step was, layout was built for operations. So then I went and put together a USNS type panel in JMRI to do the dispatching. And we used that for about, let's see, which year was Kansas City for the NMRA?
All right. I don't know. Was that 2 years ago? Is that what I'm thinking, or?
I thought
Yeah,
it was longer.
yeah. Well, a couple of them. There was 2 years back, and then several years back before that.
And our circuits, Dick has it, it was 2018.
Okay,
Yeah.
Well, basically, when Drew was out there, he saw a couple of physical CTC panels. So when he came back, that's the next thing. Me and one of the other engineers around here, we got work on what would it take to build the carcass, what's the population of it going to be, and then finally got it built. So now it's just a simple toggle of one thing on the CRT. It turns overall control to the physical CTC panel, and people really like that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's cool. So
Sounds familiar, right, Rodney?
Yeah, it sounds typical of what we're doing. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean that's really neat. But I mean, so you can switch between the two, is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically what I did is I left the logic for the CTC level inside JMRI. And, the ABS level of signaling, that's all out in the nodes. And from that, I use that to drive the ideas into Rodney as to, okay, here's what you'd have to do so you could have LCC doing the low level stuff. And this is what CATS would have to do for the high level. Now,
Yeah.
at some point, what this guy wants is we may end up making a CATS panel for it just to be able to do modern style dispatching. But as he says, now that he's got this physical beauty with all the lights and everything else, it'd be kind of a shame to ever dispatch any other way. But that's where some of the design details came from.
Well, yeah, I'd like to see that homemade that one, the physical one. That's pretty cool because, and you got what LCC signal circuits driving everything. Is that what you got?
Yeah, basically, let's see. I think the layout itself ended up being 11 of the signal LCC nodes. The panel itself, at the time we built it, well, we had to use what we could use, and that ended up being, I think, 1 tower LCC and 9 signal LCCs to provide all the I/O for that thing.
Oh God. That sure is interesting because we got it down pretty bad. Rob, you could step in there with telling Ken how we got the interface between CATS and we got all the logic in the nodes, and CATS is just talking to GMRI to control it when we decide to have a hold for the signals or not have a hold. We turn on the layout. And the area we got done, the signals automatically work in ABS. And then we're going to have to step in and do it to CTC. But we're just still in the infancy stages. We only got 1/6 of the layout done.
Yeah, the way I did it is when I was building up the logic tree in each of the nodes, I stuck in an extra event that basically would cause it to hold the signal at red. So that was like right in the, the way you do the logic, you go, okay, how many different reasons are there for stop? And then you work, less restrictive.
Right, right. Yeah, that's right, Rob. I would say.
Yeah, yeah, he's doing exactly what we're doing. Yep.
So then it's a simple matter in the CTC logic deciding, okay, which, is it safe to release the hold on this signal or that signal?
Right. Because I know we looked at your thing in Springfield where you used how many logics to go with that diamond with an automatic interlocking you put in at that down in Springfield. I mean, you're telling us it was a major amount.
Okay. You're talking Morris Junction on the Fremo layout, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yep. That was in the Mallory building.
Okay, let's see. That was one tower node just for the two panels for the yard, the throat, which was a let's see how to, oh yeah, that was a routing panel between the 5 different possible places coming in from the east. Then that took one node for the signals at that spot, another node for the crossing and the turnout at that end of the passing, and then one node on the south module for the signals at that end.
Well, because the one thing we were puzzled with, and we're not trying to do it because when ABS, I mean, we're looking at the difference between ABS and APB. You've obviously got traffic features in that arrangement you got there. It knows which way the train is coming, and I wouldn't be really that sure how to go about that. I know it would take a lot of logic, and we're not really concerned about that because we're going to have it when it's CTC cats. So keep it logical where you're not having overlaps or nose to nose and an automatic. But we're just wondering how you did that.
Okay, the automatic diamond, the basic concept was, okay, the holds for those signals were basically the default condition for the part that was processing the diamond. And so when it would recognize that, okay, on the east-west or the north-south line, a train appeared somewhere within either approach of that given direction, it would then release for that direction and leave the other one opposing. Okay, the other, at least with respect to the diamond, and then it would wait until that train had cleared. Now, in theory, soon as you knew that the end of the train had passed the diamond, you could technically release to allow, like, say, if it was a north-south, if it was northbound train, you technically could release to allow an east or west train that was there. But I talked to a few prototype people, and they said most of the cases for automatic logic diamonds erred on the side of, yeah, we're going to hold it at stop for the other guy until the other one has clearly left the area. So there's no question about if somebody stopped or backed up or anything like that.
Okay.
And that actually made it a little bit simpler.
Okay, so you treated both approaches the same. Okay. Okay, so if he's coming, so you didn't set it up so he just cleared the interlocking, it would automatically pick up for a guy coming the other way. Okay.
Yeah, and as long as somebody is continuing to move in the cleared direction, so if somebody was following, it would stay in the north-south. And basically that kind of works out like an automatic fleeting, which once again, from what I had talked to prototype people, that was the general behavior. That if it was an automated interlocking, it tended to automatically say, okay, somebody else has hit the distant approach. We're going to stay in this direction.
Okay. Oh.
Now, the other thing on this layout at Drew's is, yeah, we discussed maybe someday doing cats just have modern dispatching, but then we've also had the discussion of running timetable train order on it and basically just put a drape over the panel.
Oh, it'd be a shame to drape that all off. Could you?
Well,
Could
the
you?
idea would be to prevent cheating by the dispatcher to see where somebody is, but instead strictly rely on the OS reports. And believe you me, that isn't always in agreement.
I I know I got the opportunity to go down to the Onondaga cutoff there, Abel's layout, and we were running down there, and he caught me cheating. Look at instead of looking at the signals, I was looking at the dispatcher panel, and I says, "Okay, I got the lineup, away we go, baby." That's pretty neat. But
Yeah,
could you say?
well, the one thing we're doing with Morris Junction is I'm working with our circuits and we're trying to get an MSS interface for the endpoints on it because internally it's all LCC, which is great for that part. But for basically the way Fremo works with the, oh, you set up anything anywhere, the simplicity of the cable idea for the modular signal system that says, okay, here's what the next 3 blocks are doing type thing, lets you just, plug in one cable and the modules work it out from there.
Okay, it's neat. And I see always you sign on your thing that your Finger Lakes Railroad. Do you get to go up there much for the live stream or no?
Well, actually, my background shot is me and my dog on the 1-inch track. And let's see, last weekend we connected up, I think it was 18 or 21 track panels to finish a curve for a new passing track. It's not leveled, it's only rough ballasted, but well, we got all the panels, connected up. And we're hoping this weekend, though the weather sounds like shit, that we'll be able to get out there and actually get it tamped, get it leveled, that type of stuff.
It's oh, that's pretty cool.
Sounds like prototype operation. Dropping panels and tamping and
Quite similar. Actually, I think a month and a half ago, we actually took one curve on the main line out of service because, well, inspection of the railhead showed that the inside had been worn to the point where the flange was actually riding on top of the web of the rail. And the gauge was wide too, but and that was a replacement of 14 track panels.
You couldn't just replace the. Well, obviously, it's easier to just do a whole panel, right? Because
there's a certain amount of ease with dropping in panels, but in this case, well, the ties were all at least 30-year-old wood, and we've been going to the AccuTie plastic ties now. And well, you can put the rail on those panels in about 5 to 10 minutes per panel. And then you just carry them out, lay them in place, and then it's just really adjust the ends.
oh, really? Okay, and interesting because my buddy, a guy at work, I work for CSX, but he's building a layout, or I shouldn't say a layout, an outside running railroad. He's got live steam and all that on his property. He's got 6 acres, and he told me about those plastic ties. So you just drop the rail on and screw them into place? Is that what it is, or?
Yeah, the rails are formed with the tie plates right into them. So you're getting the 2.5-degree angle automatically from that. They're preformed holes. They're not drilled. The plastic mold, we're down to the factory that actually was making them. That mold actually makes little pockets underneath the tie plates for where the screws will go in that has, basically a clearance hole for the self-threading stainless steel screws to go in.
Oh, okay, well, that's pretty cool. I'd like to see that. That's pretty neat. I only went once by the Finger Lakes Railroad. It wasn't operating, and I just, saw it from the street is all.
What I try to tell people is if somebody's going to be passing through the area, there's a lot of times me or somebody can, somebody can get out and welcome somebody and show them around, what we've got. Because our 1-inch line was built for operations. It's basically single track and I think 5 or 6 passing tracks. And about 2/3 of those passing tracks have 1 or 2 industry stubs. In the middle of it, there's also a 12 different spot industrial area where half of it was all trailing point, but the other half was more facing point turnouts with a runaround in it. So to get a mix and variety of operation.
Oh, that's interesting. That's cool. And I know you're in the Syracuse area. Are you north, south, east, or west, or where are you?
Well, I live actually just on the east side of Syracuse, and during the summer, it's like I spot a trailer out at the club, and pretty much, Friday afternoons through sometimes Sunday afternoon, sometimes Monday, is where I'm at.
Oh, okay. So you're probably around the DeWitt Yards then.
Let's see, my house is 1/2 mile from the CSX main line at about the 278.5 mile post from on the NYC markers.
He's right near Kirkville.
Kirkville. Yeah.
Yep, Kirkville's the spot. That's the grade crossing I go across very regularly. And where track 4 comes into track 1 and 2 is just around the corner from me.
Okay. All right. Because I'm in Clarence, just outside of Buffalo, east of Buffalo. Right there. Rob's in Tonawanda, just north of Buffalo.
Okay, well, let's see, just for record, I grew up in Kenmore. My sister lives in Tonawanda. My brother lives in Amherst, just across from the Transit Valley Country Club.
Okay. I can get
5
the
minutes from you.
I can get there, what, in about 5 minutes?
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. And what took you to Syracuse? Work?
Yeah, work. Actually, it was said that I was sitting around the office the one day between assignments for a week, and me and a couple of the other guys who didn't have better stuff to do got into a pun contest, and it went well. Any of those punning contests, where do they go? Downhill. And the rest of the office wasn't so amused. So suddenly this opportunity came up to get out here, and it actually worked out better because yes, it's nice to be around relatives, but it's also nice to have a little bit of distancing.
Yeah, it's certainly not that far away, really.
Yeah.
Ken, did you ever see Abilene Railroad for the Syracuse area, the Onondaga cutoff? That's you'd probably get a kick out of that, the way he models it.
I know at least once we've talked about doing a road trip, and it was like on the agenda and then something came up, and as far as I know, we haven't had a chance to reschedule.
Yeah. Well, I went down there. He's one of the nicest guys in the world, man. He's great, and just the way he operates, it's interesting as hell, the whole operation.
Well, I think I'm going to drop off. So I will see you next week, probably.
Okay, you probably won't see me because I think I'll be working. See you, Scott.
Good night.
Thanks, Scott. Take care.
Yep, have fun. Yeah, as it is with me, my time schedule changed a lot because this semester I'm now a full-time assistant professor at the community college, and it's teaching all technical stuff. There's a little bit of CIS, a little bit of mechanical, some electronic, and we're starting a new program that is it's called electromechanical, where it's, I want to use the word dumbed down, but it's a not as deep as either the electrical or the mechanical programs were, but mixes the two of them up better, because we've got a lot of feedback from local employers that finding people to do, installations, line maintenance, servicing, all that stuff. They don't find people who have a little bit of a little bit of both to be able to do the job.
I gotcha. I gotcha. That's that's cool.
But well, the idea caught on well, because I think where the school as such had been dropping enrollment from about 2010 down and down and down, and well, our section of it, the computer and applied technologies group, we're up 46% over last year.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah, well, basically it means that any class that used to only be about half full, every single class is full.
Oh, really cool. Okay, good, good. I, hey, there's a guy up here in Tonawanda. You might know him, or he's actually in Wheatfield or something. Frank Pastor. He mentioned to me one time that there's a bunch of operating operating days up in Syracuse up there. I would assume you're familiar with that. Is there somewhat similar to what I'm talking about?
Okay, let's see. We run an ops weekend. I think it's in the spring. And what we do is we've picked a time where we do the sessions, so the ops are like from noon through evening on the Saturday. That way people can travel on the Saturday to get here, stay just one night, and then there's a session in the morning. So they get like three sessions in the period.
Okay. Yeah, because they don't really have anything like that around Buffalo that I know of, at least.
Yeah, the Lake Shores division, which Rochester, down Corning, and all those places, they've got a fair number of ops, but definitely fewer and farther between. I'd say with us, the number of operating layouts that are within an hour's drive, it's a nice number. We've unfortunately lost one just this year, and that was Jim Heights, Ontario Northern, which was modeled after the O&W. And that one, basically, he came down with ALS and passed away this spring.
Oh, it's bad.
His widow nicely let us operate a few times during the summer, and the last I heard, it sounds like she's accepted an offer on selling the place, but it's somebody who actually wants to keep the layout, because the standing offer was that we would go in and remove all of that. And that would be a kind of a daunting challenge, because it had been built over 25 years of time, but it's in the basement of an 1840 country house, all stone and brick. And let's just say it has character.
Oh, I know exactly what you're saying there. Hey, Rob, we could ask Ken now about when we start up the LCC, why if he's got any idea why the sensors always show reverse on those. Remember what we're talking about, Rob?
What's that with the controls?
Well, on the sensor table, with when we have LCC already running and we turn on the computer, the sensor table defaults to reverse on the switches or whatever. So you know what I'm talking about? Make a reference.
Okay. Here's one of the things you run into, and it's not that well documented, is with LCC, anytime a node comes online, whether it's just one of the boards or the computer, they basically play 20 questions with everybody else on the net. And it's like, okay, who produces this event? Who consumes this event? You know, all of that chatter, which is where you can see that the traffic gets real busy for a matter of seconds or longer, depending how many nodes you have. Well, if within JMRI, or actually, let me back up. Okay, a node, if it knows that it's a wired input, you know, in other words, it's sensing it and thereby producing an event, it knows it's authoritative for that event combination. JMRI, however, for the most part, it shouldn't be a authoritative source for the status of those bits. And it's one of those additional columns that you can turn that off. So what happens is if your JMRI is coming up and you're running anything that sets stuff, or like some people actually reload previous settings, you get multiple nodes saying, oh, I'm authoritative for, you know, turnout 23. And which one wins? Who knows? So I would suspect that if you check that setting, what I generally did is the only things I set as authoritative were cases where, okay, it's a button, a switch, a light that is on the JMRI panel. Everything else that JMRI is looking at, I make sure it's not authoritative. So it's saying, I'm only going to listen to what the nodes say.
Okay.
And
So-
if you haven't figured
Go
that
ahead.
one out, give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say, Rob? I didn't hear what you said.
No. I just want to kind of finish. I would imagine then that the only authoritative thing we would have then is the CTC on and off.
For us.
Yes.
Yeah, be
that
the
would
CTC on and off or the CTC hold, maybe.
Yeah, on the single mast. Yeah, because it's the only place that there's a whole check mark is in the mast settings, you know, in the tables. So that would be the place for it.
Yeah, and the trick, the only got you there is that you got to make sure that before you shut off JMRI, you make sure that you go out of CTC mode so it clears all those bits out in the nodes, and then you're back to ABS.
And we do that. You know, when we have tested it in CTC conditions, we'll put it back to ABS and then turn it off because it's much it acts much better that way.
We have it set up that there's the button on the panel on CATS there that obviously goes through JMRI that we click on it and turns the CTC on and off. But we're going to have it so that we have a manual button outside of there just connected to the LCC system in case we forget, you know, so we can just push that and it kills it there.
Yeah, the only gotcha you'd have there is either you'd have more complex logic for each signal because you would have okay, here is the event pair that says, is my direction released or not? But a second global event that says, are we in CTC mode? So as long as the one event changed, then they'd know to avoid that, but it makes your signal logic more complex. And since you only have so many statements you can put in there, I went the route of just remember to turn off the mode before you turn off the computer.
I gotcha. Okay. I gotcha. Yeah, that seems like it worked better in logic. We wanted to make sure to have something to back up in case we forget, you know, so we can get the layout back to ABS. Because if you turn off the computer, it would put a hold on all the signals.
Well, or rather, it would leave the hold on the signal.
Leave the hold, yeah, right. Leave the hold on all the signals, right? But
yeah, good job remembering to ask him that, right? I totally forgot about it.
Yeah, because I mean,
and he was on the JMRI side. Yeah, which makes sense. When I'm over at Rich's, I'll change that in the tables and see if that works better.
Yeah, I'd say definitely, you know, the bulk of your sensors, you know, try a few and then see what happens on your next power cycle. Because I mean, they come up and they argue, and you have to remember part of what the LCC nodes will do is, well, if you have a many to many type condition, it
Mhm.
understands, yeah, there might be more than one node that is authoritatively creating this event. And if if I remember right, the first one that happens to get to the point of saying, okay, I'm authoritative for this, and this is the state, wins.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah. Okay. And what about the thing in cats, Rob, that Rodney put in there? You know, we were talking about it. I can't, you know, with the refresh or whatever you told me. I mean,
Oh, the initial refresh?
yeah, that seemed to straighten it out, didn't it? That it was all
Yeah.
matched?
Yeah, the last time we tried it, after I downloaded the newer version, yeah, it definitely acted a lot better. I'm trying to think if it's been a while since we tested it.
Oh yeah, we haven't monkeyed around with it in a while
No, we have. I don't remember the
because
exact scenario.
a lot of times, Ken, we would get like, let's say, a switch. What would it be, Rob? It would be out of correspondence, right? It wouldn't be either direction. And then
Correct.
once you threw it back and forth, it would come right in. You know, you had to
Right.
like tamper with it. And that same way on some I don't remember, we had the trouble, Rob, on the track circuits. I shouldn't use the word track. The track occupancy, I'll call it. The track occupancy, you had, if a train was on it or something, it might not show, but you backed it out, turned it, you cycled it. In other words, it would work then. You know, everything
Mhm.
was all coming into play then.
Well, the question is whether it was from other nodes would recognize, or whether it was just Jamarai. With Jamarai, I could see that, okay, he starts up, and if he didn't get a report saying, okay, here's current state, he's at the mercy of waiting until one of the nodes generates the event saying, oh, we're this now, or we're that.
Right. Either the state gets sent out or the state changes. Then it would pick up on it, which is what happens, Rod.
Okay.
So it's another one of these, like, I want to try set all turnouts to normal. Run the script and do that. You can do this. I think there's one for occupancy as well. If I recall, I have to go back in the scripts and see if it's in there or not. But you can do that, cycle everything through its startup, and it'll look at all the sensor states in JMRI. Cats will. Or Jamarai will send it to Cats, basically. Here's the states of all the sensors. And then Cats will display it properly, or it'll display what it's showing on the sensor tables.
Yeah, I think what you were getting was that, okay, the last time somebody was listening, what did they hear type thing? And somebody came on and, well, they didn't hear that because they weren't listening yet.
Right. Right.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, we were seeming to get that problem straightened out. We haven't monkeyed around with anything lately because we got caught up, and now I'm building a new panel for more nodes and stuff like that. We got the railroad broken down into 6 sections. How many signal LCC nodes we got total, Rob? Is it
Let me bring it up. I have my sheet up. We got 34 signal LCCs total and 22 BOD4 CPs. That's what it is. But right now there's 4 signal LCCs and 3 BOD4 CPs in service, basically. So
yeah, the thing I'd say there is, and of course now you're just using the signal LCC, not the signal 32 LCC.
correct. Yeah, just the regular signal LCC, not the 32.
Yeah, I mean the 32 is going to be nice. Actually, that would greatly reduce the node count in our CTC panel because it's basically all I/O. The downside is the current way logic is recorded in the nodes, the memory it's available for that isn't big enough to really manage that many signal mass.
Correct.
Well, there's some possibilities coming down the road. And let's just say there may be a way to change how that is packed into the node. So the same amount of space in the controller will actually allow us to put more lines of code in there. But that's a work in progress.
Right. I
right,
remember
because
Dick mentioning something about that.
I heard Dick mention something about that in the LCC group. But we've already got all
And
the we got all the nodes purchased, so we're just gonna go with the Signal LCC, and I think it's a good system in that. So we got it all figured out what we need to do as we go along. So I'm pretty pleased
yeah,
with it.
and I was real pleased with the little meter that he came up with. That you just plug it in the middle of the cable, and you can tell immediately, okay, is the voltage dropping? How much current's flowing? Type thing. As trying to estimate, okay, how much current does this node draw, et cetera, et cetera. It's just easier to measure, and then you move around your power points as needed to kind of make sure everybody's getting a healthy amount of voltage.
Yeah, that we're setting that up too, so to spread it out through the whole system. We have six zones basically. They each have anywhere between 7 to 4 signal LCCs, and then we're gonna put there's sort of 6 of them, so we're gonna put 5 in between them, one in between every group there. So is what we'll do. So that should do it. But we got the what they call it. He calls it a vamp meter or something. Like
Van
that.
meter. Yeah, van meter. Yep.
Right. We got
Yeah.
that just in case.
Yeah, measuring is many times preferable over trying to be theoretical on it. There's a couple of threads running right now in a couple of the groups that the right answer is somebody set this up, go take some measurements.
Okay. All right. Yeah. But so by I bought it because I should say we bought we had our buddy buy it because we're Rob's doing the programming and I'm doing the hardware and we work together all the time on it. And the owner, he's just the CFO. He just says, okay, if you go up to and say, all right, we told them we were worried about a part shortage supply or something like that. So we said, let's try and get all the LCC stuff. We told him, what do we need, Rob? 2,800 or something like that?
Yeah, I forget what 2650 or something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Range. We said, we need this. He says, okay. That was it was just like that. No
Well,
question.
I'm trying to remember the guy's name out on the West Coast, and I think his count was somewhere around 105 nodes or something.
Wow.
Isn't it?
They had to do some tricks for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's a problem after you get. I forget where I read about it somewhere where I forget where the number is. You get to a certain point, it doesn't work, right? You can't. I thought it was around 50 or 60 or something like that.
If I remember right, 48 nodes in a single segment. After that, you then have to have some sort of gateway repeater type thing to talk to the next set, and it has to do with how the nodes identify each other.
Yeah. I mean that was baffling to me because I mean, fortunately, we don't have 48, and we're
34.
huh?
34 is what we'll have total.
Yeah, 34. So we should be fine.
You'll be
But, I
safe.
mean
Yeah.
that is amazing to me. I mean, I don't even know at that point how you get everything to communicate with each other.
It might be a little slow starting up, as they all talk to each other. But that was the one thing about using the CAN bus for that is its inherent design ensures that either the other node did hear you or the sender knows it got stepped on and knows to retransmit.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, fortunately, I hope we don't have any problems like that. I would. I mean, that LCC system is a great system, man. It really is.
Yeah, I think I need to cut it off because I've got to go up to one of the other county schools and do a song and dance in the morning.
Okay. All right, Ken. We enjoyed having you on here. I mean,
Yep.
we were ready to attack Black real good, not attack them, just to pummel them with questions. But when you came out, I'm thinking all of our JMRI questions and that, So, but we appreciate seeing you, and hopefully we'll see you in Springfield for sure. I would hope.
Oh yeah, I'll be doing my usual stuff at Springfield.
Yeah, we'll be in on your seminars. We'd like to hear what you
sure.
got to say different.
Yep.
So,
Look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, have a
All right.
good night.
See you
Oh,
later.
actually, I'll also be at Syracuse, November 4th or 5th, whatever that weekend. You know, the train show they do at the state fairground.
Oh, I didn't even know they had one there.
Yeah,
yeah.
first of November, Rod. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
How many vendors do they have there? I'm just not familiar with it. Is it like,
I don't know what the current count is. I know that they more or less fill the nice, shiny new expo center. And I'll be set up with the Fremo guys.
okay, well, we'll keep that in mind there. If the weather's good and that it's on a Saturday and Sunday, I assume.
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday. If you basically just type in Syracuse 2023 train show, I think it will take you to the site.
Okay, that's good enough. Okay, we'll find it then. Maybe we'll take a look at it in relation to Springfield. What's it about the size of one big building or what? Or I
I'd
know.
say it's about, let's see. Well, it's bigger than the Stroh building. But I don't think I'd say it's as big as the Young building. That is, as far as number of vendors.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it's one of the
Gotcha.
middle-sized buildings. Okay.
Yeah.
But all right, Ken. Well, we'll see you later. Great talking to you.
Yep. Always a pleasure talking with you. Kind of appreciate all the info.
Okay, have a good night.
You
too,
too.
thanks.
Take
Okay.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, I'll talk to you.
It sounds good. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Okay, bye.
All right. Bye-bye.